Hello, this is Lolly. I have gone ahead and decided that I am going to start this Copic marker journey, and I had collected a few in the beginning to try them out, see what I thought. Obviously, it's an investment, and so I needed to decide whether this was something I wanted to pursue before going ahead and making all that. All the purchases. So I know that at like Hobby Lobby they used to sell sets of 3 that sort of went in the same color scheme, and I could use a coupon to get the 3 cheaper than normally. So I was doing that and getting sets of 3 until I got all the sets of 3 they had, and I think they even quit carrying those sets of 3. I haven't looked recently. And I guess I just bought the colorless blender by itself. But anyway, so this is what I have. And I watched maybe 1 or 2 videos in the beginning and tried to play around a little bit. I do know you need the right cardstock and you need the right ink pad. And so who really got me started was watching Sybil B's YouTube channel. And I will give you the link down below. I'll give you the link to her entire Copic playlist in which she has her questions and answers and what you're looking for in papers and markers and all of that, all those questions, and even demonstrations on coloring. So yesterday I was going to be taking someone to the doctor, and it was going to be a 3-hour visit. So I brought these and some stamped images. And what I noticed, let's see if I can point this out to you. One of the markers, every time I would open it, it would splotch like that on my paper. So I know that Sybil had mentioned that sometimes with a marker there can be pressure buildup inside, especially when it's filled with fresh ink and capped right away, that the pressure is not equal. And so I decided I better do this. And she said to open both ends and just let it sit on your desk for 3 to 5 minutes, and it would pressurize. Plus, you'll notice that it has been gooping out here, as you can see on the marker right there and in the cap. So I decided I also need to start cleaning these up, which I was also watching her channel on how to do that. So they're still new, and I know I don't need to get new nibs on them or anything. So I'll just clean those up, and again, she explains that in her series and how to do that. The other thing I noticed was, this is my first, so I was blending with 3 colors across here, and down here I was trying to just blend with 2 colors, and even colors that you wouldn't normally blend with, like a dark brown and a dark green. I like this. It's kind of a mermaid color. I noticed I was going outside of edges, but part of that was because I was coloring with a clipboard on my lap, and I just couldn't get the angle right, and it was just kind of hard to do that. But all in all, it went really well. I noticed that this is really splotchy in here, and this is really splotchy in here. And again, I think it's because the markers need to be cleaned. So I'll work on that today, because I placed 2 more orders. One is from Carpe Diem markers, and I'll give you their link. And their Copics. Copics are normally, is it $7.99 a piece retail? And on Carpe Diem, theirs are $5.24. And Sybil says that about twice a year they will do a marker sale on Copics, and they will go down in price even more than that. They don't ship outside the U.S., and they said it has something to do with their agreement with Copic, so I'm not sure how that works. And so I have that order coming, and then being the impatient sort that I am, I placed a second order with Dick Blick, and they also have $5.24 for their markers, and they also don't ship outside the U.S., so you'd really have to search on how to ship outside the U.S. I know there's suppliers elsewhere, like in Europe. I know they can get them, and they call them Copic markers. So anyway, so that's my journey, and the other thing I've done is I've ordered a stand to hold markers, and I will give you the link to that. I found it on Amazon. They have one that's wider and shorter and doesn't hold as many. It holds 96, and I got the narrower, taller one that holds 120. I have a limited desk space, and so I can't get ones that really take up a whole lot of space in front of my work area. It has to be tall and skinny because I don't have much room on my table. So I got that from Amazon. I'll give you the link. And below on the, well, I'll give you the link to both of them and that I saw on Amazon, and you can look at them both. But just remember the tall one holds more. And, oh, and I did decide to go with the sketch markers. The Copic Originals are square shaped. When you look down at the top, they have a square barrel. And they're still dual tipped, you know, the brush marker and the wide tip there, the chisel. But they hold more ink as well because they're so fat. But they don't have them in as many colors either, and they're more expensive. These are the sketch markers, probably the most popular ones. They do have a little gray here on this band to show you that that's the brush marker. They have the number and code on the end, which is very helpful. I'm zooming in there. So that when you see them, you can tell what the colors are. And then they have another one. This has all the colors are available in this Copic sketch. And then they have another one called the Chow. And that one is a round barrel, and it's more cheaply made, doesn't hold as much ink, and they don't have the numbers on here. They just have a colored tip and then cap, and then you have to look here to see what the number is, which is kind of a pain. But those ones are more affordable. And on this journey, I went ahead and started a Copic craft community Facebook group because I had been in a Copic for Beginner Facebook group before, and I don't remember what the name was. I'm just saying it was Copic for Beginners. I have no idea if that's the name of the group. I don't want to reference any specific group because I don't remember. But it seemed like it would be something that would be helpful, but I found that basically everyone that was in there was not a beginner. They were very experienced, and it wasn't so much about sharing all the things you need to know to get started. So I went ahead, and it was a really large group, and so I just started a group, Copic Craft Community, CCC, and I'll give you the link to CCC down below, and in case you would like to get more information on this journey as well. So, and don't forget to look at all the links I've got underneath here. I know, so what Sybil had said was you're going to watch me do this, put some alcohol in there. And I think this is the one, I just spilled, it's okay. This is the one that was really goopy. That's one of them. Would be to stick the caps in there to get them cleaned up. I'm going to leave this open for a minute, and I am going to use some gloves because I know my hands will get so dry from using alcohol. This is just regular rubbing alcohol, isopropyl alcohol. If you get it from the dollar store, they tend to be like 50% alcohol, so not quite as helpful as getting the full strength. But I did get cheap Q-tips in there from there. Going to rub that in there and take a Q-tip inside and get all that out. Since these are alcohol-based markers, they just gets the alcohol smudges off. And if you have anything on your cap, you can use that to get it off as well. There you go. I probably should have a rag up here to put these on as they dry. Hold on. Okay, I do keep rags in my craft area, so I don't have to use paper towels all the time. And then to just dip my Q-tip in there and clean up all of this because it got quite a lot on the cap from the pressure. Now, I live in mountainous area. It's high altitude, and so the pressure up here is different than it is down at what we call the flatlands. And so what that does is when something gets shipped to us, we tend to, and excuse me, I'm interrupting myself, you just kind of rub it across the marker here to tone that down a little bit, the splotchiness. So anyway, by the time something gets shipped to us, it's really pressurized, and so I think even with markers, we're going to have that problem. Anyway, so there you go. Now the ones that she said was that were getting splotchy when you color, to just drag the Q-tip down the blade, like, not the blade, but the brush tip, like that, a little bit to clean that up from any gooping. And I'm still going to let that sit out here for 3 to 5 minutes to make sure it's all pressurized. And I'm really glad that I wore these gloves. So I'll set that aside and work on the rest of these and get them all cleaned so that by the time I get my next set, I'll be all ready. And the last thing I wanted to show you was that I did I was looking at all the Copic charts that are online. I went ahead and made my own out of a spreadsheet. Excuse me, I'm out of breath from running to get this. But this is available in the Copic Craft community Facebook group. It's not as convenient as many of them because it's not 100% alphabetized. And the reason is that, like, here's B, E, and then it goes down to C, then up to N. And the reason is that I couldn't break it up so that I could do it all alphabetically and numerically and have half of it fit on one side and half fit on another. So I had to kind of break the charts up and spread them between the two pages. But it works for me. And I was able, it depends on your printer, I was able to print this off on Copic friendly cardstock so that when I color in, it will be a true color for me to see. So when I get my next orders, I will be able to finish and color in what I have there. And there's also a an app for the phone, iPhone and Android, where you can just click and show all the colors that you have. And then you can keep track of them that way. And it's a really cool app. I like it a lot. It's not in the app stores. It's just a website you go to on your phone and then click it, and then you can download the app from there. And again, I have a link to that in the Copic Craft community Facebook group. So I'll make sure you look at all the links. I know I'm going to give you a lot. Thank you for watching and for joining along on my Copic journey.